Good morning, brothers and sisters. You're going to have to bear with me with this one. I wanted to talk about complacency and what complacency is and whether you might be suffering from complacency. I want to go into a little analogy here and sort of do some drawings and stuff and sort of like see if you can identify with some of this, because I think it's fucking important and it's very, very true of how not only everybody else I can see in other people, but myself as well. Do you know what I mean? I can see how I've done this in the past, and anyway, let's get into it and see how this video goes. So here's a blank piece of paper. Let's get in that wide first. Sorry guys. Should be a bit more professional than this, but you know, we're not professionals here, are we? We're just carrying a message. See, what happens is, right, we start life off at like this point over here. Yeah. I'm like in this absolute mess, right? Yeah, absolute fucking shit show over here. And with jails, institutions and death and misery and pain and all the other stuff that comes with being in active addiction, you know, using all the time. You know, if you've been to that place, you know that this is we all know where this is. When we've had enough, right? Maybe the consequences get a bit too much, and life starts getting over responsibilities and you know, your health and children and drug addiction and then your age and it's like it just gets messy. It just gets real fucking messy, you know, and eventually, you know, unfortunately, a lot of people don't make it past this point to where they get this gift of desperation. They sort of want to move forward, or they have no choice through jails and institutions to sort of like being pushed through the consequences of their addiction and this sort of style of living into what we call an institution. And when we sit in this institution, this might be recovery house, rehab, could be anything, you know, even jail, psychiatric unit, you know, and stuff like that. And what happens is we end up living here. And you know what, like for most people that end up in jail or an institution or rehab or even for me personally, I never went down that road, but me personally, I just come from active addiction to not using. Jails, institutions and death to being forced not to use. Now, at this transition here, right, you sort of can sit here and go, right, well, I'm not in pain and misery and chaos anymore, and it's like it can be a little bit more peaceful, and I'm not causing loads of harm anymore. And I can sort of like, you know, when I'm here, I'm like, I need help. I need help. That's the thing, you know. We can sit in this for a long time with not even knowing that we need help. But when we finally come to that place where we're like, I need help, you know, the gift is desperation. And then through our consequences, somehow, by the grace of fucking God, we end up in a recovery house. And because we're not in this chaos and madness anymore, but we've spent so long in our lives spent in this chaos and the madness and stuff, when we move to here and we find peace and peace and tranquility, and we end up like without the responsibilities of what life had, and you know, all we have to do is just go to meetings and fucking piss in a cup 3 days a week, you know, or once a week in order to keep our house and thingy, and like go to free meetings and stuff. And for me, it was the same, you know. I just stopped using. I stopped all that fucking feelings and bad emotions, right? And I got to here where I just like found myself clean. You know, I was just clean. For the first time in my life, I was clean. There was none of this. There was none of this emotional fucking disturbance, you know, none of this chaos. And right now in this place, I realised that I was just clean. And basically, when I'm coming from here, this is all I ever wanted. You know, this is all I could ever dream for. And it started by saying, I need help. And when I need help, it transports me to here. But this is the key. This is the thing that happens, because just because I think that I've got a roof over my head, I've got a front door, I can shut that, I can trap the world out, I'm not using anymore. I'm not using anymore, you know, I'm going to some meetings and stuff, and all my responsibilities, you know, all this stuff, which is mostly like responsibilities, looking after yourself. Responsibility is a big mess, especially when you're unable to manage your feelings and emotions. This is how active addiction feels. This is what using does. Using sort of gets this and just gives you a little break. That's all it does. Gives you a tiny little break. But then you go straight back to it. Using, break, using, break. And every time you use and you get a break with using, or that temporary relief from using, when you come back to this, there's more of it, and more of it, and more of it, and more of it. And it gets worse and worse and worse. And then we say, I need help. And we end up in a recovery house, or we end up in an NA meeting, which is also another certain, or another physical meeting. That's also classed as an institution. How can I say that recovery is not classed as an institution when I have to go for at least twice a week, at least 3 times a week? You know, if I have to go to meetings for the rest of my life, then it's just another institution. The cunning thing is about it is that I get to choose whether I want to go or not. If I want to stay well and carry a message, I go to a meeting, I choose to go to the meeting. But this, let's say I'm in a recovery house, right? Or I've just stopped using. And, you know, like all this stuff, I've had all the things of lives, what life's fucking thrown at me, and all these responsibilities and stuff, all this has been taken away for now. And because all this is chaos and pain and misery and discomfort and, you know, guilt and shame and all that stuff. And what happens is, we move into this recovery house, you know, we go back to the gym, we brush our fucking teeth, we start wiping our own arse a little bit, we get a bit of money in our pockets, we got some beds, and we start thinking that we fucking cracked it because we're not using anymore. And what happens, based on where we've come from, we think that here is okay. This is a consequence from this. And what we see is that we see it as a relief from this. But it's not. This is a consequence from this. Because in this picture, this is what you might all see. But fucking real life is fucking here. Real life's here. Responsibility's here. Looking after yourselves here. Finding courage, faith, strength, hope, and taking care of your fucking self is here. You know, where it's not here. Thinking that you've got it all going on because you're here, because you're not here anymore. You think you're convincing yourself that I've got it all fucking cushy, mate. You haven't. You got this is where you should be. This is where you should be. Remember that. Remember where you should be. You should have the ability to manage your emotions. Emotional management, responsibility, kids, bills, self-regulating, looking after yourself, not being someone else's pocket, not asking the fucking government to pay your fucking rent for you, you know, not fucking wiping your own fucking arse for once. All this stuff here, self-reliance. If you don't like what I'm saying, it's probably because it's fucking right and it rings true with you. This is still a consequence. You're not living in the problem anymore. You're now living in the consequence. This are the results of recovery, right? This, between here and here, is not fucking recovery. This is not recovery. Recovery doesn't exist here, right? Recovery starts here. Starts here, mate. This is where recovery starts. What action are you going to do between getting from here to here? Self-reliance, responsibility, paying your own bills, getting up in the morning, looking after yourself, getting that courage, that strength, that emotional management, looking after yourself spiritually, physically and mentally. This is where the work comes in. Work. This is work. Works this way. Yeah? This way, mate. You're going this way. You can't go that way. And what it is, people think because they're not going backwards, right? Because they're not going backwards that way, they're doing all right. Because they've got this fucking wall here now that says, oh, well, if I do this and I do that and like, I've got no money left and I fucking, you know, I'm getting piss tested every fucking week. So I can't, if I do a negative piss test, I'll lose my house and I'll go back to this. And we're scared of this. This is the fucking shit that chased us in. This is the shit that fucking got us here now. This is where that got us to here. Do you know what I mean? Right? Not fucking about here anymore. Right? We're not here anymore. I can go back that way I can go back that way. That bit's always going to be waiting for me. But I'm here. I've got to take some responsibility. I've got to put... This is where reality kicks in. Yeah? Reality, mate. You're not fucking out of the woods yet, mate. And you know when you get to here, you know when you get to this stuff, real life, do you know what you're going to need? You know what you're going to need for this? A program. You're going to need a fucking program. Because if you don't have a fucking program, when you're going from here to here, you'll always stay here. You'll always stay here and you'll settle down and you'll convince yourself you're doing all right and everything's going to be okay because I'm not doing this anymore. It's a fucking illusion, mate. You're not out of the fucking woods yet. When you get here and you start living and enjoying your life and taking care of your own responsibilities and not relying on people, places and things like the government, a fucking key worker, a recovery house, meetings and all that stuff, and you can get up and fucking start doing this shit on your own, this is where recovery is. Recovery. Recovery's between here and here. This is a recovery house. So when you're sat in this fucking house and you've not got bills to pay and you've not got any emotional management, and you've not got any self-reliance, and you've not got a program, it's time to start getting some. This is where the work needs to be done, here. Now, if you're not doing anything here, don't sit around scratching your head wondering why your fucking life's not taking off. Because what it is, you have come this far, but you're still scared of this. Remember that this is what you're scared of. This is what causes fear and unmanageability. These are the reasons why your life was like this. You know, if you're alive today and you're in a recovery house, you want to be looking at not where you come from based on where you are, but you want to look at where you can get based on how much opportunity you now have. So I can go, now I am not using, and I'm in a recovery house. Reality tells me that if I work a program of recovery, I'll build myself a real life. Don't let fear fucking stop you. Don't let fear and complacency stop you from fucking going this way. You need to be moving forward. You need to be moving forward all the time. Because this, right, this moves like this way, right? Only when you take action. And this is like 10%, right? 10% this way, right, with action. Sorry. This is 10% this way with action. The movement is 10% this way with action. No action, and we're going this way, 5%. You know, this no action, this way, right, of like 5%, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to, beautiful stuff it is. You don't have to do anything because recovery is always on this 5% backward cycle, always. You don't even have to get out of bed and it's already on 5% that way. It's already moving. It's already going that way. Always. It's always going that way. So when you put 10% action in, right, minus the 5% that way, right, because you're on a fucking hill, right, this is an uphill journey. This is going uphill, right. When you stop, you'll just roll back down, right. 5% at 10% means you're going to start building momentum. Momentum, right? If you stop momentum, you'll start going backwards 5%. Build some fucking momentum, mate. And if 10%'s all you've got in your fucking arse to be moving forward, it's going to be enough. I hope you've got patience. Me, when I get up, I want to be doing fucking more than 10%. I want to be doing more than 20%. I want to be doing more than 15, 30%. You know what I mean? I want to be doing at least 50% fucking better than what I'm usually doing. Because if I'm fucking hanging around here and all I'm doing is just not using, reality tells me that I'm going to end up back here needing fucking more help than I've ever needed before. In fucking misery, chaos, confusion, and all the other stuff that comes along with fucking active addiction. Because my step work, right, my program tells me, in reality, right, tells me that if I don't look at moving this way and I don't do the work, I'm just going to use again. Stay blessed, guys. I hope this message really helps. I'm not here to fucking criticise or anything like that, but if the fucking shoe fits, it's probably because I'm telling you the truth. Stay blessed, guys. Good luck on your journey. Get motivated. Ain't nobody coming to save your ass. Believe me. What's the saying? Talking don't cook no rice. Love.